So today you might need a block, maybe a strap. Now the strap, as you might be aware of, you can use a shawl, a longer towel, a belt, whatever you think is appropriate to use. And when you are ready, I would ask you to use one of those items already, and that is your block. And very simply to sit up. I've chosen to sit more in the hero style pose with my feet underneath or beside the block, but that's not essential. I just find for me that's easier to sit upright this way while my knees are okay. So choosing your position. We will allow a moment where we just move a little bit around. You can rest your hands down, you might lean a little bit back, a little bit forward, move to your sides, whatever feels good at this place. And once you come into a more upright seated position, we'll do a side bend as well. So let's inhale to lift the left arm up and really stretch up towards the ceiling at first. And then take a breath out, and you can lean into your hand or into your fist as you're extending to the side. And another breath as you reach to your fingers. And then a breath out, just to let the shoulder roll forward, rounding your back, and then rising out from the back of the neck, lifting the crown of the head. We're back in an upright seat. So with the inhale now, stretch the right arm up. Really reach as if you wanted to touch the ceiling. And then on the out breath, bending over to the side, you can lean into your hand, into fist, your arm. Reaching over to that side too as you breathe in. And then to release it, let your shoulder, your arm roll forward, and then curling yourself back up into sitting. You might choose to place your hands onto your thighs or your knees and take an inhale as you round your back a little. And then an exhale as you draw your shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades, maybe lift your sternum and gaze. And then again, rounding to the back and squeezing shoulder blades. And maybe one more round. We'll release the squeeze of the shoulder blades, and you can rest the backs of your hands down into your lap or where they feel comfortable. I'd like to begin with a balance that brings a strong awareness as a breathing technique, a strong awareness to one of our gaze points, and that's the third eye point. I'd like to start with Nadi Shodhana. So index and middle finger can rest over the third eye point or between the eyebrows. Your thumb and your ring finger are lightly touching the sides of the nostrils. Keep your shoulder relaxed at first. Keep your upright seat. And if the arm feels heavy, you can place a hand underneath the elbow, resting it there. If you're comfortable with it, you can close your eyes. And we breathe out of both nostrils. Then we inhale again through both. And now closing the right nostril and exhaling through your left. We'll start now, inhaling left nostril. Open the right, close the left, and breathe out the right nostril. Inhaling through the right nostril. Open your left, close the right, exhale left. So that's one cycle. We're inhaling through the left again. Exhaling, right nostril. Inhaling, right nostril. Exhaling, left. Second cycle completed. Start again with the left in breath. Out breath to the right. Inhaling, right side. Exhaling through the left. And now just continue on breathing in through the left nostril. Out the right. As you continue, becoming maybe aware of where your fingers are resting, and that there's a point fairly close to this area where your breath actually switches over from one nostril to the other. Keeping that light stimulation on this point happening, the area of focus during this technique. Need to come towards a more balanced and yet relaxed state of being. When you're next exhaling from your left nostril, release your arms down. Maybe keeping the eyes closed and just noticing how you're feeling now. And then blink the eyes open. And if you are sitting on a support such as a block, please remove that out from underneath for now. And we will come onto the knees now, placing the knees out wider and touching the big toes together. And as you then sit your buttocks to the heels, leave your hands on the floor for now. Spread out through the fingers and get in touch with your hands on the floor. A long inhalation to feel the ground underneath, your support, the length of your spine. And then when you're exhaling, you can step or slide the hands forward. And you might lower down onto the forearms and keep your spine long. And you could add a bit of movement here through the pelvis, releasing into the hips, getting some movement happening through the shoulders. And you could from there stack your fists to rest your forehead on, again stimulating the third eye point, or you could extend your arms further and rest the forehead to the floor. As you come into this position, notice the shifts, the changes that arise when we change position, and that is just the physical, not even the place to which you might be paying attention. With your hands now actively spreading to the mat, begin to ground down through the bases and the pets of the fingers. On the next inhalation, lift your hips away from your heels. Draw your knees underneath the hips to an all-four stance. The wrists are just a tiny bit forward from underneath your shoulders, creating a greater range of movement. Tops of the feet on the floor. On the inhalation, soften your elbows, lift your tailbone, and roll your gaze back up to the third eye point. And as you're breathing out, begin to round and change your gaze as you look at your navel. With the inhalation, soften the elbows, lift your tail, drift your gaze point to the third eye. On the out breath, rounding and gazing back to the navel. Continue with this movement as you're lifting gaze up to the third eye while your tailbone's rising, and then curling under and your drishti goes to the navel. Completing 2 more rounds like this. Once you've completed these 2 rounds, neutralize your spine. Still be strong in the foundation, shins, tops of feet, and hands themselves. And when you take your next inhalation, lifting your right arm, and now the gaze turns either to the hand or out to the side. We will move this on and out by taking this into a thread and needle position. Now, you might rest down your ear, your shoulder, leaving your hips high and coming up onto the fingertips of your left hand. Gently pressing the fingertips into the mat to raise further from the left shoulder. Then let your fingers spread back down onto the mat, pushing yourself up to return onto all fours. And we will repeat that on the other side. On the inhale, lifting your left arm, gaze is turning. And on the out breath, thread the needle as your arm reaches under, resting down to the shoulder and the ear. And maybe placing the fingertips of the right hand down now, like a cup your hand might look. We're lifting with that gentle pressure of the fingertips to the floor, the right shoulder a bit further. Planting then the hands back down and using that to rise up onto all fours again. And from here we will stretch back to the heels, just for the extended child's pose. Nowhere we're going to stay, just getting a reach from the hips up to the fingers. And then breathing in and coming back up onto all fours. With the next inhalation, now extending your right leg back. Flex the foot so your toes are facing down, strong in the arms. Inhale here. And with the exhale, draw your knee and nose together under. Then breathe in again, extending out through the right leg. Point the foot and exhale, curl back up. Do that once more. Lengthen back to the foot and forward to the crown of the head. And then curl it back in on the outward. And extend that leg again. So same leg comes back. Getting stronger again in the arms as we bend the knee. And you could simply open the knee out to the side and hold this here. Or you can tap your toes behind. Lifting the right arm forward, just forward, and looking into the palm of the hand. A new drishti point or gaze point to bring length through the right side of the body. Then place your hand down, place your knee down, and again stretch back, extend the child's pose. Beautiful. Let's inhale again, returning onto all fours. Using the hands again, hand lock is on, chins, tops of the feet are encouraged into the mat. And on the inhale, then the left leg extends back. Extend right out through the heel, leaving the hips facing down, and point the toes. And as you exhale, draw your knee and nose together again. On the inhale, extending the leg back. On the exhale, curl it back up. Go for one more round, inhaling to extend, exhale to curl and round your spine. And when you inhale again, the leg is extending. Hold here, strong arms, bend your knee, and start to open your knee out towards the side. Your choice of holding here or tapping your toes down behind. And then a breath in as the left arm, extends forward. And maybe looking into the palm of the hand, playing around with the length across the left side of the body. Then bring your hands back down, bring your knee back down, tuck your toes under, and still stretch back towards the heels. Finding again length through the spine, but this time let the shoulders roll open and create some space in between the shoulder blades. You're welcome to stay here, or you can rise to all fours and transition from there into your downward facing dog. If you do choose a down dog, you might start to walk out through the legs, maybe through the arms too. So take yourself for a bit of a movement in your downward facing dog. Gorgeous. Now the same applies here. If there's too much strain or stress in the body, please change position, drop the knees. Otherwise, inhaling, the right leg will lift. Point the foot. On the out breath, bring your knee into your chest and aim with your foot between your hands. Please help the foot there if it doesn't get there naturally. Come up onto your fingertips from here, lengthen through the spine, encouraging the right hip back, the left heel towards the back end of the mat. And when you're exhaling, collapse the whole lunge. Let us roll up through the spine, raising the arms on the in-breath, and then softening deeper into the lunge on the out-breath. Encourage your hip to face forward, the palms to face towards each other, and you might lift your gaze point up towards the ceiling. Inhaling here. And with the exhalation, leaning the spine a little bit forward. Bring your gaze down towards the front end of the mat. Inhale here. You can hop the back foot in while you pull your fists in, drawing your knee towards the chest. Let's lift ourselves up to stand tall from here. Place your ankle towards the thigh of the other leg. And as you inhale, open your arms out sideways. And as you're exhaling, sinking in. You can keep your arms out wide, or you can touch the hands together in front of the chest. Reflection in the left foot as you sink potentially deeper into the one-legged chair. Let's inhale. Lift the knee and the arms again. Gaze now forward. And as you're breathing out, step the foot back, ground your hands, and take a downward facing dog or fours down. On your next inhalation, roll the spine forward into a plank or kneeling plank. We'll draw our tailbone down towards the heels and bring space in between the shoulder blades. And as you're exhaling, keep your elbows nice and snug, the core on as you lower onto the front of the body. Hands remaining underneath the shoulders. The tops of the feet are flattened to the ground. As you encourage that more, your knees might lift slightly off the ground. On an inhale, create a wave of the upper body, lifting the head to the chest. And then breathing out to lower again. Let's do that a few more times. On the inhale, waving up. On the exhale, releasing down. Inhaling a wave into cobra. Exhaling to release to the floor. If this suits, repeat a couple more times. And when you then land on the mat again, we'll take a very slow transition. Push down into the hands, come to all fours. You might step your knees a little in and stretch again into a child's pose. Now your arms this time could be soft, or you could even extend the arms alongside the body, hands next to your feet. Head can be supported here as well, with hands or block. I'd ask you to pause, breathe. Breathing in and out of the nose. Trying to find space into which you can expand the breath. Stimulation again at the third eye point, at our mind point of focus. It is the focus itself that I am drawing your attention towards. Let your arms reach back out to the front end of the mat. Begin again by spreading the fingers out and tapping down to bases and pats of the fingers. And with the next inhalation, return to all fours. Either stay here or tuck the toes under and exhaling back into downward facing dog. As you find your down dog, have a little bend in your knees, stretch your tailbone far up and back. With the next inhale, lifting your left leg. Again, please flex the foot, toes pointing down. Then point, and as you exhale, draw your knee up towards your nose and aiming with your foot between your hands. From there, come up onto your fingertips. Encourage the left side of the hip a little bit back. Keep the length of the spine. Inhale here. And with the exhale, then collapse it. Soften, round your back. Rolling your spine up from there, coming into a high lunge. As you inhale to lift your arms. Palms are facing again. And as you breathe out, settle a little bit deeper into the lunge. If you like, you can lift your gaze upwards. Good, like shoulders relaxed. Gaze steadily. Inhale here. And as you exhale, change your gaze point to the front end of the mat and lean the spine straight forward. As we inhale here again, you're welcome to hop the back foot in. We're pulling in with fists and we're drawing the knee up towards the chest. Standing up tall from here. Placing your ankle to the thigh, and then a breath in as the arms reaching out to the sides. And as you raise out, sitting a little bit lower, have a flexion in the ankle that's lifted. And if you like, you can bring the hands together in front of the chest, and maybe a little bit lower. We'll change things up. As you inhale now, lift your knee again, your arms. And we'll simply land the foot down and release the arms very slowly as they come out to the sides and release them downwards. Beautiful. Maybe your energy is slowly landing down within your feet. You can have your big toes together, the heels apart, or you can step to hip distance, outer edges of the feet parallel. That's the same for both variations. Little movements might be nice. You could rock over the feet, lifting the toes, lightly lifting the heels. Getting a deeper sense, similar to what we did with the hands. We want to find a grounding point. And as you come to stand here, lift all the toes off the floor, ground down through the feet, feel the feet switching on actively, and keep that activation as you lower your toes. You can turn the palms of the hands forward if you haven't already, keeping a steady drishti straight ahead, at a spot that doesn't move. So never the screen as the screen keeps moving. With the next inhalation, lifting the arms up. As you breathe out, circle the arms around and interlace the hands behind your back. When you inhale, draw the arms down long. Make the arms lifting away from the back, opening your chest more, lifting through the sternum, maybe through the gaze, breathing in again. And when you exhale, bend your knees quite generously, belly to the thighs, and then extending down into a forward bend. The arms might be lifted away from the back, but only if your shoulders are at ease. Your gaze now is back towards the knees. The weight lightly forward in the feet, as you might feel you could be slightly restricted in your back line, which we are lengthening now. Just release the hands down towards the mat without changing the shape itself. And as you inhale, let your hands slide up and come to a half lift, lengthening your spine forward. And with the hourglass now, step your right foot about 1 meter back and just a little bit out towards the side to keep distance. Keep the right toes diagonally facing forward and a bend in your left knee. And use your front foot to rise up from. As you take an inhale, the arms are lifting. Now with the front knee at a bend, ground down through your feet. Get into a sensation as if you're pulling your feet in towards each other. Of course, they root towards the mat, just finding that strength on the foundation. And as you inhale, raise your gaze. We will twist towards the left with the hands coming into the heart as you're breathing out. And I'd ask you to simply hold here for a moment. Feeling the strength in your legs. Your spine is twisted and yet tall. You're gazing over to the side. On the next inhalation, lift the heel off the floor, lift your arms up. And as you're breathing out, bring your hands down and step it back for down. On the in-breath, rounding the spine forward, come into plank or kneeling plank. With the hourglass, lower down into the mat. Resting your forehead or your chin onto the ground. And let your arms extend alongside the body. Palms of your hands will be facing upwards. Tops of the feet are on the mat. And with the next inhalation, lifting the legs, the head, the chest, and maybe your arms too. Lift the palms of the hands facing up and stretch your fingers in the direction of the toes and the toes further towards the back of your space. While you hold here, take a few deeper breaths, aiming to keep your breath flowing. One more. And then as you release back down to the mat, place your favorite ear onto the ground. You could wiggle through the pelvis a little and let that ripple up your spine to soften all the way. Observing the heart beating down into the mat. The breath still flowing gently through the nostrils. Your eyes might be closed and yet your gaze is turned towards the sides. If the mind wanders, return it to your drishti, your gaze point. Now place the head back down into the center, your hands back down by the ribs. Breathe in as you rise onto your knees, tucking toes under, and your choice to lift the knees off the floor for down dog or to stay on all fours. It is now the left leg that we will lift as we breathe in. Pointing the toes for the out breath, draw your knee up towards your nose. And then landing the left foot forward in between the hands. Lower your heel down onto the mat, that's the back foot, and walk your hands between your feet. And then starting to rock the body forward and back on your mat, creating a bit more space around the hips. With the next inhalation, let the upper body hang down in the middle. And then exhaling, rolling up through the spine again, rising to stand. And as you inhale, let your arms reach out towards the sides. A warrior two on the out breath as you bend into your left knee. Grounding down and changing your gaze over to the hand, the left hand that is reaching towards the front of the mat. Keeping your legs switched on, similar to what we did in the warrior one. And then with your next inhalation, keep your drishti at the hand. Lengthen the front leg, reach your arm up. And when you're exhaling, shifting into the triangle. So arms now reaching up and down. And as we lean in, there's still length coming through the side of the waist. And only if you can maintain that, come lower, otherwise staying higher up. You can look up to the hand or down, aligning with the knee again, the toes, or rather the other way around. And from your triangle, take an inhale to bend the knee again, and an exhale as you reverse the warrior two. The front hand now might be your gaze upwards. And the back hand now might be resting down, but you could look at that too. So choosing your drishti and then keeping it there. Front knee aligning again with the toes. Stands strong and steady. Inhale as you reach up to your hands. Then unlock your knee, roll in. Releasing your hands to either side of your front foot and lifting the back heel of the floor. Inhale again for length in your back. And breathe out to step your feet parallel and release your nose towards your knee. Bring the gaze to the nose as you come halfway up. Inhale. And exhaling, folding. Wait for an out breath now and roll yourself up slowly. Lifting your shoulders again as you breathe in and shrug them down as you breathe out. You can turn the palms straight to face forward. Take another look down at your feet, big toes together or hip distance apart, outer edges aligned. You might lift all of your toes away from the ground again. Really like that activation that comes through the feet. While you hold that activation, let your toes relax to the mat. You might momentarily close the eyes. Just feel grounded, yet tall, steady, yet there's ease in your breathing. With the next inhalation, lifting the arms back up. Circle your arms around as you exhale, and you might change the interlace behind your back. Lengthening the arms down, breathe in as you open your heart and lift your gaze. Then bend your knees rather deeply. Let your belly rest over your thighs to fold forward. Arms away from the back is only an option. If your shoulders aren't happy with that, rest your arms down. Gaze now towards the knees. The weight, however, sits forward in the feet. Take a few breaths, inviting length into the back body, potentially openness to the shoulders. Then relax the hands back down towards the mat. And on the inhale, rise into half lift. Lengthen the spine. We will now step the left foot back about 1 meter and out into hip distance. Keep the front knee at a bend and use the front foot to rise up from as you're lifting the arms for warrior one. Settle into the stance, front knee is bent, hips are shining forward, and if they aren't, just adjusting your stance, not the hips themselves. The hips are just following the stance of your feet. Pulling the feet in as if you could bring them closer together, just maintaining the strength in your foundation. And lifting the gaze if your neck allows. Holding your gaze upwards, steady, focal point, inhale. And on the exhale, bring your hands to the chest and turning to the right this time, where we hold. Nothing has changed in the foundation. Everything is strong, and yet the spine was able to turn, accommodate, to twist. With the next inhale, lift your heel and reach the arms up. And with the exhale, place your hands back down and step into downward dog. In breath, roll forward, plank on kneeling plank. Exhale, ascend to the mat. As we lie back down, chin or forehead touching the floor, and we're returning the arms alongside the body. The palms of the hands are now touching the mat. While we inhale, lifting the legs, the head, the chest, and the arms. Keep the palms facing down towards the floor now, different variation. Keep reaching with the fingers towards the feet, that hasn't changed. And hold here, breathing deeply. Oh, as deeply as this shape allows you to. Keep the breath flowing very gently in and out of the nose. Nearly impossible to breathe very deeply in this shape, so breathing as much as this shape allows you to. One more breath there, and then turn the palms back up and change, resting the other ear to the floor. You can move the hips again from side to side. And pausing here. Although our drishti is to the side of Pashva Drishti, the eyes can still be closed. And while your gaze might rest over to the side, there's the body that is slowing down at this time. Heart beating less strongly, the breath flowing in a more relaxed manner. Keeping the sense of calm, balanced, as you turn the head to center, placing the hands back down by the ribs, and the breath in to come up onto all fours. A breath out to sit to the heels, but maybe have your toes tucked under as you do so. Broaden the space between the shoulder blades, connecting with the hands into the mat. And with the next inhale, you can come to all fours to stay or breathe out to lift up for a down dog. Lifting your right leg up this time as you inhale. And with the exhale, bringing your knee forward and then landing the foot between the hands or helping it there. Lower the left heel down to the ground and bring the hands in between the feet. Starting to rock the body forward and back. Creating some space. As you breathe in, relax the whole upper body down into the center. And when you're breathing out, rolling up into standing. As you breathe in, extend your arms out to shoulder height. And when you're exhaling, bring a bend into the front knee. That's the right one now. Turning your gaze over the right hand. So that's our new drishti point. Aligning knee and toes. Pulling the feet back in, same as we did in a warrior one. Solid stance. Steady drishti. As we inhale, straighten the front leg, keep your drishti, raise your hand. And on the out-breath, then turn this into triangle pose. So the same here, both legs will be long, pressing down a bit into the front foot so the knee aligns over the toes. There's length through the side of the waist. Your arm is tied at the top. It's okay to rest it down. Your drishti, one of your hands. Holding the gaze point, the length and strength in the side body. With the next inhale, bring a bend into the front knee, reverse warrior two. As the arm is lifting up, the front knee is aligning again with the toes. Your drishti changes again if you like, but stays with the hand. Either the upper or the lower. And the upper hand is reaching a little bit further up and back as we inhale. And then the back knee bends. And as we breathe out, the arm rolls in. Now you can lazily place your hands down, bring your knee down to the floor, the other one, and then come into a seat. We'll take our legs out in front for a moment. So we will need our strap. As we place that by the side or whatever you're using to replace that. Ask you to bring your right foot in, maybe even to the outside of the hip. Or you can cross the left leg in front. Now for a full cow face pose, your feet on either side of the hips and the knees maybe are stacked. If this feels difficult, try a block. Pop yourself up a little. See what happens in that case. For me, all of a sudden, the shape is accessible. Doesn't mean the same happens for you. You're still very welcome to have one leg in front of the other. And it is our left leg that's at the front. We'll take the strap into the left hand, just one end. And we'll take a breath in to lift the left arm up. Oops. Swing the strap behind, sorry for the noise. On the next inhale, thumb pointing down, right hand moves out. And we swing that right arm behind our back, bending the elbow. Now bend the upper elbow as well. And take as short a grip on the strap as you can. Leave your head upright and tall. Draw the lower ribs in slightly. Breathing in. Breathing out as you might close your eyes. Holding here your choice. Or bending to the right. On the inhale, center yourself again, releasing both of the arms. As you relax down, I'm secretly swapping the strap behind my back. So I've got it ready on the other side. Before we change sides, extend your legs forward for a moment. You might give them a little shake. Depending on the depth of the bend here, that might be necessary. Bringing now your left foot in, maybe all the way to the side of the hip, right leg this time in front, or stacking the right knee over the left. Take a hold with the right hand off the strap. And on the in-breath, lifting the right arm up. Left arm might reach towards the side, thumb pointing down, and then swing your arm behind. Take a hold as both elbows are bent. Make sure the head is upright. Your arm can be a little bit out to the side, that doesn't matter. Pull the lower ribs in a little. See into the extension from the inside, so maybe the eyes are closed now. Notice the challenges in this form. And if you would like to extend into a side bend, use the out-breath to bend to the left. Rising back to the center, let the arms open, and release the hands down, unwinding the legs and stretch them back out to the front and a little shake. Now, I would love you to come away from the block, maybe placing the block down by the side. The strap can come out of the way, and we're lengthening our legs out. Now, if you're feeling a little bit cold, it's a good idea to put your socks back on or your jumpers. We will take an inhale with the hands resting by the sides into the staff pose. And we will breathe out and start to round from our lower back, lowering the body carefully onto the mat. Relaxing for a moment the arms before you might step your feet up onto the ground. Adjusting through the back. And it might feel nice to take both knees into the chest and give them a squeeze. You could even rock the body gently from side to side, giving your back a massage. And when you are ready, we transition straight away into a relaxation. So you could step your feet down, out wide to the edges of the mat, and let your knees fall in for constructive rest. Arms will move out away from the body so the shoulders can ground down, the palms are facing up. And if your lower back is okay, you can keep the feet wide but extend the legs out, maybe to mat distance, letting the feet roll open away from each other, the body getting out of touch. You can have cushioning underneath and head. And your nose is aligning with your navel, so allowing the head to remain centered as you might close the eyes or steady your gaze towards the ceiling. Allowing yourself time to let the body find its place in this last shape, as you practice it after each class. I can only highly recommend to come into Shavasana multiple times a day if you've got the environment to do so, and let go of the physical body for a while. There's no strength required, no lengthening achieved, but there's absolutely nothing to do. And while you stay resting here, I will start to draw your awareness to different areas of the body, and with that into different focal points. let us begin the movement of awareness. Eye gaze steady or eyes remain closed. Taking the awareness upwards, beyond the crown of the head to the space that lies above it. Then draw your attention closer and let it move to the third eye point, resting the awareness between the eyebrows. Drawing your awareness further down, just a little at first. Place it to the tip of the nose. The awareness resting at the tip of the nose. You might also become aware of the ebb and flow of breath, effortless, moving under the tip of the nose. Now bring your internal gaze or attention to the right hand. The right hand thumb. Then bring the attention across the body to the left hand. The left hand thumb. Bringing awareness back into the midline as you rest your attention, the navel. Might notice again the breath moving. Keep your attention at the navel, maybe feeling it rising and falling. And now bring your attention to the right foot. The toes of the right foot. And then across to the left foot. The toes of the left foot. Awareness momentarily rest on the soles of both of your feet and expand your awareness from the soles of the feet up your legs, your pelvis, torso, arms and shoulders, all the way up through the body to the crown of the head. Your mind aware and present in your body, resting. Keeping your gaze or drishti at the whole body, present in this moment. George Feuerstein said, quote, asana, or yoga postures, is a good example of the fact that all yogic practices are interconnected and one step penetrates the other. The main aim always being the concentration of the mind. Your mind now come back to the flow of breath through the nostrils and deepen the breath slightly. Maybe bringing movement back or stretching. Then returning yourself into an upright, seated form. We bring our hands together at the heart and drawing our attention now towards the hands again. The hands, they are touching the sternum, connecting our awareness with touch towards the heart. We're lightly bowing the head to bring even more attention to this area. You might choose to extend the practice of focal point concentration into your day as we extend to each other. Namaste.